Picture this: bills piling up, stress creeping in, but a saint's timeless wisdom could change everything. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, the money simply doesn't stretch far enough? Have you wondered if there's a way to change your financial situation through faith? Perhaps at this moment, you're going through a difficult economic situation. And let me tell you something, you're not alone. Today, Padre Pio has a special message for you. Before revealing this powerful secret that has transformed the lives of thousands of people, allow me to tell you something extraordinary. What I'm about to share with you is not a magical formula or a complicated ritual. It's something so simple and yet so powerful that many overlook it. Before we dive in, drop a 1 in the comments if you're ready for a life-changing secret, and hit subscribe for more. Padre Pio, that saint so beloved by all of us, knew the transformative power of true faith and left us a special key to unlock the financial blessings that God has prepared for His children. Before continuing, I need you to understand something fundamental. This message reached you for a reason. It's no coincidence that you're watching this video right now. God works in mysterious ways, and sometimes the solution we've been searching for lies in the simplest words, in the purest wisdom. Would you like to know what these 2 words are that have the power to transform your financial reality? Are you ready to receive this revelation that Padre Pio left us as a master key to prosperity? If you feel in your heart that you need a change in your financial life, if you're tired of struggling without seeing results, I invite you, before revealing these miraculous words, to write Holy Padre Pio, prosper my life, in the comments. Your declaration of faith is the first step toward your transformation. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will completely change the way you view finances and abundance from a spiritual perspective. Padre Pio not only left us these words, he left us a profound lesson about trusting God and the power of true faith. When we talk about Padre Pio, we're not talking about just any saint. We're talking about a man who deeply understood the connection between sincere faith and the material blessings that God has prepared for us. A humble Capuchin friar who, from his small convent in San Giovanni Rotondo, transformed the lives of millions with his heavenly wisdom. Padre Pio lived in a time of great economic hardship in Italy. He saw daily how entire families struggled to survive, how hardworking parents couldn't bring bread to their tables despite their efforts. It was precisely in the midst of this harsh reality that God revealed to him an extraordinary truth about the power of faith in relation to our finances. Did you know that Padre Pio always insisted that poverty is not a virtue when it prevents us from fulfilling our responsibilities and helping others? He perfectly understood that God desires His children to live in abundance, not for wastefulness, but to be channels of blessing. Here's where the profound wisdom we're about to discover comes in. In his writings and spiritual advice, Padre Pio constantly repeated that the words we speak have extraordinary power. They're not just sounds that come out of our mouths, they're spiritual decrees that can open or close doors in the heavenly realm. When we understand this, we begin to see our declarations of faith in a completely different way. Allow me to share something that few people know. Padre Pio had a special practice. Whenever someone came to him, desperate over financial problems, he didn't immediately give them money, even if the convent had resources. First, he taught them something much more valuable. He showed them how to activate the spiritual law of prosperity through faith expressed in words. Here's something fascinating. Testimonies of transformation began to multiply. Merchants on the brink of bankruptcy, single mothers without resources, families drowning in debt, all began to experience inexplicable changes in their finances after applying this teaching of Padre Pio. Coincidence? I don't think so. The key lies in understanding that true prosperity begins in the spirit. As Padre Pio used to say, material blessings are merely the visible reflection of a spiritual reality. When we align our words with this truth, something extraordinary begins to happen. I recall the case of a businessman from Guadalajara who was on the verge of declaring bankruptcy. His company, built with years of effort, was about to close. That's when this teaching of Padre Pio about the power of words and prosperity came into his hands. What happened next seems like something out of a book of miracles, but it's as real as you and I. Dear brothers and sisters, when we begin to understand that our words are spiritual seeds, everything changes. Every declaration we make about our finances has the power to manifest in the material world. Padre Pio knew this, and that's why he left us this invaluable legacy that we're about to discover. The two words that Padre Pio revealed are so powerful in their simplicity that many doubt their effectiveness. But as he always said, in simplicity lies the greatness of God. These words are, I trust. Yes, brothers and sisters, I trust. Words that may seem simple but contain a transformative power capable of moving financial mountains. Padre Pio discovered this truth one night in deep prayer when a desperate woman arrived at the convent seeking help. Her debts were consuming her, and the bank threatened to take her home where she lived with her 3 young children. At that moment, Padre Pio received a divine revelation. The solution wasn't in obtaining a loan or seeking immediate material help. The true solution lay in restoring something much deeper, complete trust in divine providence. He asked this woman to repeat every morning and every night, especially in moments of greatest anguish, with unshakable faith, I trust. Why are these words so special? Because when we say I trust, we're not simply repeating an empty mantra. We're making a spiritual declaration that resonates on 3 levels: in heaven, in our spirit, and in the material world. It's a key that opens doors that no financial strategy can unlock. Padre Pio explained that when we say I trust with true faith, we activate an ancient spiritual law as old as time itself. It's the same law that allowed David to face Goliath, that caused the walls of Jericho to fall, that multiplied the loaves and fishes. It's the law of faith acting in the realm of the material. But pay attention, it's not the repetition of these words that produces the miracle. It's the attitude of the heart when saying them. When you say, I trust, you're declaring several truths simultaneously. You trust that God is your provider. You trust that resources will come at the perfect moment. You trust that debts are not your final destiny. Padre Pio insisted that these words should become our automatic response to any financial crisis. The bills pile up? I trust. The money isn't enough? I trust. The debts seem impossible to pay? I trust. It's a declaration of spiritual warfare against scarcity. Here's something extraordinary. Padre Pio noticed a pattern in all the testimonies of people who faithfully applied this practice. First, they experienced an inexplicable peace in the midst of the financial storm. Then, they began to see small signs of improvement. Finally, the complete transformation of their economic situation arrived. Padre Pio taught us that these words are like seeds we plant in the spiritual garden of our lives. Some will sprout quickly, others will take more time, but all have the potential to produce abundant fruit. The key is to maintain consistency and faith, regardless of external circumstances. When we say, I trust, we're aligning ourselves with a universal truth that Padre Pio perfectly understood. God is our supreme provider, and his resources are infinite. We're not limited by the global economy, financial crises, or adverse circumstances. Our source is divine and therefore inexhaustible. Now that we know these powerful words, it's essential to understand exactly how to apply them in our daily lives to achieve the results Padre Pio promised. It's not just about repeating them. It's about creating a complete spiritual method that transforms our financial reality. The first thing Padre Pio emphasized is the right moment to say these words. The best time is early in the morning, as soon as you wake up, when your mind is free from the day's worries, and at night, just before sleeping, when your subconscious is most receptive. In these moments, your spirit is more sensitive to spiritual truths. But before saying, I trust, it's essential to prepare your heart. Padre Pio insisted that we must begin with a moment of gratitude. Yes, gratitude, even in the midst of financial difficulties. Be thankful for what you have, for the air you breathe, for the opportunity of a new day. This attitude of gratitude prepares the spiritual ground for the words of faith to take deep root. When you're ready to say, I trust, do it with all your attention and heart. Don't whisper it timidly. Declare it with the authority given to you as a child of God. Padre Pio taught that our words must be spoken with the same certainty a child uses when addressing a loving father. A crucial aspect that many overlook is the importance of keeping these words active throughout the day. When the bills arrive, when you see your bank account, when you face a difficult financial situation, immediately repeat, I trust. It's like creating a spiritual shield against anxiety and financial fear. Padre Pio also taught us something fundamental about the right attitude when saying these words. Don't use them as a magical formula expecting instant results. Use them as a declaration of faith, knowing you're activating spiritual laws that operate beyond what our eyes can see. Another essential element is combining these words with concrete actions. Padre Pio insisted that faith without works is dead. While declaring, "I trust," stay attentive to the opportunities God places in your path. Sometimes the answer to your prayers may come as a business idea, a job offer, or a person God puts in your way. A practical step Padre Pio recommended is to write these words and place them in visible places around your home. On your bathroom mirror, on your refrigerator, in your wallet. Every time you see them, repeat them with faith. It's a way to keep your mind focused on trust in God instead of financial worries. It's also important to understand that these words must be accompanied by a life of integrity. Padre Pio was very clear on this. Divine prosperity flows more freely when we keep our hearts clean and our actions aligned with God's will. We cannot expect financial miracles if we're not good stewards of what we already have. Last but not least, Padre Pio taught us to be patient with the process. Some people see immediate results, others need to persevere longer. The important thing is not when the material manifestation arrives, but maintaining our declaration of faith unshakable. I trust. What prevents us from experiencing the same transformative power in our finances? Padre Pio left us these two words, I trust, as a master key to open the doors of divine providence. They're not magical words, they're a declaration of faith that can completely change our financial reality. As we come to the end of this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on the profound wisdom Padre Pio has shared with us today. The simple yet powerful words, I trust, aren't just a phrase. They're a lifeline, a declaration that can shift the trajectory of our financial lives and beyond. Have you ever paused to consider how much weight your words carry? I know I've been guilty of letting worry slip out in moments of stress, saying things like, I'll never get ahead, or there's just not enough. But hearing Padre Pio's teaching has been a wake-up call for me, and I hope it's resonating with you too. His message reminds us that our words are seeds, planting either hope or despair in the garden of our lives. When we choose to say, I trust, we're not just wishing for better days. We're partnering with a divine promise that God is our provider, no matter how tough things look. What strikes me most about this teaching is its simplicity. In a world that loves to overcomplicate everything, think of all those finance apps, budgeting spreadsheets, or side hustle tips we chase, Padre Pio cuts through the noise. He points us back to something timeless, faith. I've learned that faith isn't passive, it's active, intentional, and sometimes even a little stubborn. When the bills stack up or an unexpected expense hits, saying I trust feels like standing firm in a storm, refusing to let fear win. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about anchoring ourselves in a bigger truth. For me, this lesson hit home recently when I faced a car repair bill I didn't see coming. Instead of spiraling, I tried whispering I trust each morning. Slowly, I noticed a shift, not just in my circumstances, but in my heart. Peace crept in, and solutions started appearing, like a freelance gig that covered the cost. It wasn't instant, but it was real. Applying this to everyday life starts with small, deliberate steps. First, I've learned to make I trust my go-to response, not just for money worries, but for any challenge. Stuck in traffic and late for a meeting? I trust. Worried about a family member's health? I trust. It's like a muscle. The more I use it, the stronger it gets. Another lesson is gratitude, which Padre Pio emphasized so beautifully. I've started jotting down 3 things I'm thankful for every night, even on rough days. It could be as simple as a warm meal, a kind text from a friend, or just waking up to try again. This habit primes my heart to trust more deeply, making it easier to believe God's got my back. I've also realized the importance of action. Saying I trust doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for a miracle check to arrive. It means staying open to opportunities. Maybe it's updating my resume, learning a new skill, or even helping a neighbor, which often leads to unexpected blessings. One of the biggest takeaways for me is patience. Americans love instant results. Think fast food, same-day delivery, or viral success stories. But Padre Pio reminds us that spiritual seeds take time to grow. I've had moments where I declared, "I trust," and felt discouraged when nothing changed right away. Yet looking back, I see how those seasons of waiting built resilience and faith. Like that Guadalajara businessman from the video, whose turnaround seemed miraculous but started with consistent trust. I'm learning that persistence pays off. It's about showing up daily, even when the bank account looks grim, and choosing to believe the miracle is already in motion. This teaching also challenges me to think beyond myself. Prosperity, as Padre Pio saw it, isn't just about personal gain. It's about becoming a channel of blessing. When I trust God for my needs, I'm freer to give. Whether it's donating a few bucks to a local charity, buying coffee for a coworker, or sharing encouragement. I've noticed that generosity, even in small doses, creates a ripple effect, bringing more joy and connection into my life. It's a reminder that true abundance isn't measured by dollars alone, but by the impact we make. So how can we live this out? Start today. Make "I trust" your morning mantra. Maybe even write it on a sticky note for your mirror. Practice gratitude, not just for what you want, but for what you have. Take practical steps. Budget wisely, explore new opportunities, and manage what's in your hands with integrity. Be patient, knowing that every declaration of faith is planting a seed. And don't keep this to yourself. Share it with someone who's struggling, a friend drowning in student loans, a parent stressed about groceries, or a colleague feeling stuck. You never know how 2 words might spark hope in their life. I'm so grateful we've shared this time exploring Padre Pio's wisdom. It's changed how I see my finances, my faith, and my role in God's bigger plan. I'd love to hear how it's speaking to you. What's one way you'll apply "I trust" this week? Drop it in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else. If this video touched your heart, give it a thumbs up. It helps spread this message to more people searching for hope. Share it with a friend who needs a lift, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more content to strengthen your faith in life. There's a special surprise in our next video, so stick with us. Let's keep declaring "I trust" together, knowing that God's promises are true and the breakthrough we're praying for is already on its way. Thank you for being here. Your faith is moving mountains.